Good evening. In the calendar year of 1999, a UPS driver by the name of Bob Bitch Tits Vargo approached me in the warehouse of Bel Air Time Corporation, a job I worked in Lakewood, New Jersey. Now, he asked me one afternoon if I would be interested in joining a fantasy sports league called the Lords of the Underground. Naturally, I jumped at the opportunity, being a big sports fan, and I joined this league. And over the next 9 years, I was a perennial contender in both fantasy baseball and football leagues. I had some good teams. I had some great teams. However, every time I got close to immortality, something ridiculous would happen to rob me of my name being engraved on one of those championship plaques. There was the Teamster Bowl of 2002, where my team, the Magnificent Bastards, played Jaws in the finals, and his Oakland Raider defense put up a 50 spot on me. Unheard of in fantasy sports. I mean, defenses usually get like 3-4 points maximum. Well, this week they put up 50 and cost me a championship. It was a crushing blow, but nothing like the year of 2008, almost 2 years ago to the day. The American League. Everybody has an arch rival, and mine has always been and always will be a one Mr. Harry Tansley. The season was a back and forth battle between the two squads, the Beechwood Brood, GM Harry Tansley, and myself, the Bridesmaids. Now, I jumped out to a 17-point lead by the All-Star break. However, momentum shifted and Tansley caught me, and then by September had a 10-point lead going into the final month of the season. A 27-point swing. Again, virtually unheard of in fantasy circles. It was a battle the likes of which fantasy sports had never seen before. Now, with just 3 weeks to go in the season and me down by 10, everybody had me buried. But my boys were warriors, and we scratched and clawed our way back into the title picture. Fast forward now to the final day of that baseball season. All the games were played, 162 of them, a regulation Major League Baseball season. The season ended, and I won by a half point, defeating Harry Tansley, the bane of my existence, to win my first ever fantasy championship. I was ecstatic. My cell phone rang. I saw that it was Harry. I thought he was there to congratulate me. I picked up the call, expected to find out what my winnings were. Well, it was Harry, but he was not congratulating me. Instead, he informed me that there would be a one-game playoff between the Twins and the Tigers that could potentially lead to another one-game playoff the following day between the Twins and the White Sox. Now, even though they were considered one-game playoffs, Harry informed me that they would count towards the regular season, and unfortunately, I had not yet won. However, the only way that Harry could win, thus taking away the championship that I felt I had rightly won, the only way that this could happen was if 3 impossible scenarios played out over the next 48 hours. The first scenario was that in the White Sox-Tigers game, Gavin Floyd had to get the victory. It didn't matter if the White Sox won. That didn't matter. Gavin Floyd had to get the win for the White Sox. Then if they went on to play the Tigers, same thing. White Sox could have won, and I still would be okay. Johnny Danks had to get the win. And third, Jim Tomei had to hit a home run. So those 3 things had to happen in a 48-hour period to take away my first ever championship. Again, not 1, not 2, but all 3 of those things had to happen. I spoke to some statisticians beforehand, and they informed me that the odds of this taking place were 1 in 479 million. Well, Monday afternoon came. Gavin Floyd took the hill. Looked like Bob Gibson. Bam, gets the win. 1 down. Tuesday night comes. September 30th, 2008. The last night of my fantasy career. Johnny Danks takes the hill. Now, bear in mind, the only way I could lose was if Johnny Danks got the win and somehow Jim Tomei hit a home run. The headline in the Chicago Tribune the next day, Danks limits Twins. Tomei blasts solo shot as Chi Sox clinch playoff berth. It was in fact the worst day of my life. Even worse than the day I accidentally shit on myself in a porta potty outside of Giants Stadium. My telephone rang before Tomei's home run even reached the bleachers. Who was on the other line? George Harry Tansley, telling me he couldn't believe it. Yeah, me neither. I retired immediately from fantasy sports. Haven't spoken to Tansley or anyone in the league since then, and I haven't even thought about playing fantasy sports again for these last 2 years. However, I am still haunted in my sleep nearly every night. I hear the crack of the bat and Hawk Harrelson calling the at-bat of the Jim Tomei home run that crippled me. I've had a lot of time to think about that night, and I've given a lot of thought to the announcement that I'm about to make. You see, I have a bucket list, and right at the top of that bucket list is defeating George Harry Tansley in a fantasy championship matchup. Harry, I want back in. And we can play by your rules. I want back in effective immediately. The American League, I want to be the 9th team. Expansion. I don't want this put to a vote. You're the commissioner. You owe me that. I'll take a team of scrubs. Give me the last pick in every single round, and I'll even take my protected 15 after the draft. I'll pay any amount of money you want. But I want back in, Harry. And understand this. I will do whatever it takes to beat you. Even if I have to hire J.T. Levier to conduct my minor league scouting, I'll do it. Just get me in. I'm back. The 9th team. And I am announcing today that October the 13th, 2010, I want to effectively return myself to the Lords of the Underground Fantasy Baseball League. And my team name will be The Return of the Jedis. Commissioner, I look forward to your response.